I got to be really careful with how I phrase this question because I do not mean it in any sort of sexual way.
Okay.
But did you ever have a babysitter that did things that they shouldn't have been doing with you? Again, not meaning anything like that. More like, hey, let's go and go shop. I don't know, like shopping. Your parents said, don't leave the house. Something of that nature. Not meaning the babysitter touched you or anything like that.
Oh, yeah. I had some of the coolest babysitters. We did so much shit that my mom never knew about.
Yeah. Like what? What did the babysitter get away with?
We went into abandoned homes.
That would be cool.
It was very scary. It was really cool though, and dangerous as hell because one of the homes that I remember we went to kind of scarred me for life. There was allegedly a murder that had taken place there, and the house was abandoned and it was creaking and it smelled musty and it was just awful, but we broke into it. Looked around, didn't see anything, and then left. But that's what we would do. That sounds like it'd be really fun. I loved it when she came over to babysit.
I had one that in fall, there was a bunch of leaves all over the ground. And I remember she and we would go and like grab giant, handfuls of them, like just pull them up in your arms and you have them, you're holding onto them. And then we'd go into the road, and our road was not very busy back then. And then we'd dump them in the middle of the road. And then when a car drove by, all the leaves would go and go, flying as the car drove through. And not a good idea to go take the kid you're babysitting to go play in the middle of the road. Never a good idea. Would never, if I found out a babysitter was doing that when I had babysitters for my kid, I would not have been okay with that. Neither was my mom. When I told her that that's what we were doing. I never had that babysitter again, but it was like so fun when we did. That's the extent of all I got. This next story, as you probably imagine, goes a little bit darker than going into an abandoned house or putting leaves in the road. This is a babysitter who was arrested for allegedly killing the family dog in front of a 4-year-old child. An 18-year-old babysitter in Wisconsin has been arrested and charged with mistreatment of animals causing death using a dangerous weapon after allegedly killing the family's Chihuahua in front of a 4-year-old child she was watching. The incident occurred in the Village of Sussex, about 20 miles northwest of Milwaukee. Deputies from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department responded to a call regarding a deceased family dog named Batman found inside of the residence on January 26. Responding officers observed injuries on the dog consistent with a stab wound. Noticed a plastic bag and placed over its head. Is the dog like literally laying there with a bag over its head and stab wounds? Like they didn't even attempt to cover this up?
That's what it sounds like. And I'll be honest with you, when I worked in veterinary medicine as a nurse, the only dog that ever terrified the living shit out of me, and I know our listeners, they will understand. There are two kinds of Chihuahuas. There's the absolute sweetest, most adorable, loving Chihuahua you'll ever meet. And then there's the one, run for your life. This 6-pound dog is coming after you and it wants you dead. And I was cornered in one of our exam rooms by a Chihuahua, and I used my smartwatch to call the front desk and go, would somebody come in room 4 and help me? I am cornered right now. And it was a Chihuahua. I know.
For context, you are a shorter human being.
I am. I'm under 5 feet.
So maybe does the Chihuahua have a greater effect on you than others?
Maybe. Well, no. This is commonly known in veterinary medicine. There are really two kinds of Chihuahuas. There's the sweet, lovable one, and then there's the one who will kill you. And that's the one I had in room 4, yes. And it cornered me, and I was not going to get out of there without several bites. They came in and got him out, but this is a horrible story. It's awful. It never should have happened, but I'd be curious to know what was going down. What, is this person absolutely off the rails mentally? And did you overreact at something, or did this dog come at you and you were terrified for your fucking life? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't kill the dog. I can tell you that.
There's two sides to every story. There's just a horrible Chihuahua killer, or maybe there's something more to that happened here. Has anyone ever been killed by a Chihuahua? I mean, is that the thing? Like, has there, how many? Why don't you Google that while we do the rest of the story? See how many Chihuahua deaths have taken place in the last year in the United States.
Yeah, not many, I can tell you that.
According to a press release in the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, the family had a babysitter identified as Kielee Sonnemann at their home on January 25th. They suspected that she had killed the dog, an 8-year-old Chihuahua. Sonnemann was subsequently interviewed by the police and arrested for alleged involvement in the dog's death. Lieutenant Nicholas Wenzel from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department stated, while the victims of this incident grieved the loss of a beloved family pet, the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department fully recognized the severity of this crime. In an interview with Milwaukee NBC affiliate WTMJ, the family revealed that their 4-year-old daughter discovered the deceased dog beneath a pile of blood-soaked blankets. During her police interview, Sonnemann did not confess to any specific wrongdoing, but admitted to shooing the dog away to some extent. She also told police that when she gets angry and lashes out, everything goes blank, and she does not remember what's happening that evening. Okay, that's what
we've got a problem on our hands, don't we?
Not someone who should be babysitting children. As the investigation continued, Sonnemann reportedly stated that there was a lot of drama going on and that it sounded like I did it regarding Batman's death. Prosecutors have emphasized that there is evidence suggesting that Sonnemann killed the dog in front of the 4-year-old child. Waukesha County District Attorney Susan Opper expressed concern about the case, stating there's at least one suggestion that this was a crime of violence perpetrated in the presence of a 4-year-old child. The crime itself is very disturbing. If convicted, Sonnemann faces a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison for the alleged mistreatment of animals causing death using a dangerous weapon. I think we should probably look more so at this person's mental health.
Especially if they're blacking out and aren't recalling what's going on. By the way, I do have the stat for you.
Okay. And?
You're sitting, right?
I'm ready.
Okay. Between the year 2005 and 2018 in the United States of America, there have been 2 human deaths from Chihuahuas.
So in roughly 20 years, 2 people have died by a Chihuahua.
Right.
How did they happen, I guess, is the question. Were they like, I could see like an infant or something like that.
I'm either an infant or I'm guessing the Chihuahua tripped somebody and they fell down the stairs.
I'm talking like savage Chihuahua biting someone's neck off. I mean, tripping. I mean, that could be, I imagine there's probably actually quite a few more deaths related to a Chihuahua than that.
There's more for cats that way. Shit, I flew across the kitchen the other day.
So I don't consider tripping that's a tripping death. That's not a Chihuahua murder.
Okay. I need to narrow my search then. But okay, they're very tiny dogs. So, you know, and they've got little man syndrome where they're small and they have to come. Yes. They do.
Or are you projecting this onto all Chihuahuas? This doesn't seem like a scientific statement that you're making, that all Chihuahuas have little man syndrome. Oh, yep. It's right there in Wikipedia. First thing that comes up on Chihuahua.
But, you know, I've done enough nail trims and vaccinations and blood draws on Chihuahuas to know that there really are just a few different types of personalities. And some of them really do have little man syndrome. Yeah. And we've all dealt with somebody who's had that, where it's like, you're just a tiny little thing, but oh my God, what is your deal?
Yeah.
You know? And that's what some of them are like, but that doesn't mean that this one deserved that, for heaven's sakes.
No, not at all. But I do wonder if there was something, if this person was attacked, which could have happened, and maybe there was some other trauma in there, which I'm guessing there was. If you're blanking out, right. That's usually some sort of a sign that you had some sort of trauma, and this is your body's natural response to being attacked by something. And that's probably what took place here. If there's no history of violence, no history of crime, you're probably talking about someone that is suffering with something. And, you know, maybe thought it was life or death. Maybe they're not going to admit to it right away, because who wants to admit to killing the Chihuahua? Right. But maybe this is not, the story certainly is not what I thought it was going to be. It's not evil babysitter, let's torture the Chihuahua in front of the kid. That doesn't seem to be what took place here, at least not from what we are reading right now.
I feel just terrible for that child that witnessed this, because this is going to stay with that kid forever. I remember seeing a dog get ripped apart across the street when I was just tiny.
Oh God.
And it was a big dog going after a little dog. You know, it was savage, but it was savage within the animal world. And I can see it like it was yesterday. I can even tell you what I was wearing, and I was probably 4 or 5. So these things stay with kids for a long time, and they, witness the violent death of their beloved pet. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it is very traumatic to watch any of that take place, obviously. But hopefully they look at this without just blinders on of going, this is an evil person who killed a dog. Because, again, this sounds like there's something else going on here beyond just that. But, yeah, hopefully that kid gets the help that they need, as does the other kid who's 18 that is alleged to have killed the dog. I don't know. I just still think of Taco Bell when I talk about Chihuahuas. Mm-hmm. That's all good. And I said that the other day in front of the kids, and they're like, huh?
What? Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free,
so you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.